What's up? We are here at day 5 of GamesCom. It has been insane. How you doing, my brother?
Oh my God, I'm doing so well, Tasis. I'm excited to finish out this tournament, and I'm actually really excited to get to do a little bit of the EPS. I've never gotten to cast this one. I've kept track of it a little bit, and it's exciting. As Jarrett was saying on stage, Socke needs to win one of his 2 matches today. If he does, then Hasuabs is out of the playoffs, and Socke's in it. These guys kind of trade back and forth who wins this league, so this is a big and important day.
Yeah, you know, the German scene, very competitive. It's not one of these countries where you got 1 or 2 good players and that's it. In fact, you got quite a big amount. Even going back to the old school days of people like Fisheye to now with players like GoOdy and Socke. I don't know what to expect out of this game. Socke, by the way, a very intelligent player, very adroit handling difficult situations. At the same time, GoOdy, this guy turtles like crazy.
Well, you know, GoOdy, he's undergone some transformations in his style as well. It'll be exciting to see what he can do. He actually pulls out wins that you wouldn't expect he would. Like, he's oftentimes the underdog, but he has a wealth of experience. This guy has played StarCraft 1 professionally for a very long time, and now StarCraft 2. He's one of the biggest badasses in the German scene in Europe, wins a ton of cups, is always qualifying for everything, finishes deep at tournaments all around the world, to be honest. But, you know, as I just said, he's oftentimes the underdog. Socke is kind of legendary here.
Yeah, I would say Socke tends to overshadow players like GoOdy, but, you know, if you're a European guy or especially a German guy, you're going to know who GoOdy is. He definitely has his own way of approaching the game. Tends to make for some longer games than others. Tends to be one of these defensive guys that kind of waits for you to step into his boundaries, and from there he messes you up. Socke, how would you describe Martosin?
Socke is, in my opinion, one of the smartest pro gamers outside of Korea. He's really, really intelligent, has a deep understanding of the game, the fundamentals of it, and what is correct to do. You know, he's one of my favorite players, basically, to watch, Tasteless, and I'm just excited for that because, you know, he didn't do that well in Intel Extreme Masters, so it's good to have some Protoss back.
It definitely is, man. We saw Protoss get dominated here at Intel Extreme Masters. Kind of sucks for us since we both play Protoss. No build orders I can really steal from this tournament beyond MC's Carrier Rush. But, no, back to this tournament here. Socke, so talented. Does GoOdy have a chance?
Yeah, GoOdy is someone that can and does beat anybody time to time. He's always finishing high up, but I feel like, you know, Socke is a league above him.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that level. You know, what is our map, Artosis?
Our first map will be Daybreak. And
Daybreak.
Yeah. And then we're going to go Cloud Kingdom and then Entombed Valley. Pretty cool map set, and I think it's pretty good overall for Socke as well. But let's take a look at this bracket. As we saw, it's going to be Daisy versus Real next. And right now, of course, GoOdy versus Socke.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. Again, this is day 5 of GamesCon. It has been so insane down here. This is my first GamesCon. I did not truly understand how big it was until I got down here and experienced it.
The doors just opened, and we're almost full of seats. So
yeah, it was pretty insane.
Yeah.
So many people stacked up outside the convention hall. We got a chance to come down here on day number 1 and play all the games, kind of a press thing where not that many people here.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I have so many games I want to get. It's just been awesome, man. Yeah. So I'm going to be broken a little bit here, all the money I'm going to spend with these new games that are coming out. But enough of that. On to this game in the bottom center starting location. We have our Protoss Socke. It is early here in the morning, but we still have a lot of people here at the tournament center. Good to hear you guys cheering. Thank you for coming up so early in the morning. And in the upper right, we got our Turtley Terran. Give it up for GoOdy. So, Daybreak, it's a one-on-one map. It's one of these maps that really makes for some long, solid games.
Yeah. And, you know, it's such a long map that Protoss kind of likes that. You know, they like to be far away from Terrans, so that when Terran's trying to get aggressive, it takes longer to get over there. Protoss can maybe get that extra round of units out, have longer to scout it, and just feel more safe. Also, of course, medevacs take longer to get across it. I would say just overall in this map pool, if I was Socke, I'd look at it and say, oh, you know what, this is a fine map pool to play against GoOdy on.
Well, it looks like he's going to scout after Gateway. Very standard stuff here from Socke. He will be headed over to the upper right to check out and see what exactly GoOdy's doing.
Yep. And, you know, it's interesting. GoOdy was known for so long for meching. And at this point, he's actually switched over a little bit. He's decided, you know what, I don't really like it that much. It's not working out like I want it to. And now he's actually a pretty aggressive bio player. And he has some interesting strats that I see from him where, you know, he'll do things like hide a command center or hit an awkward timing for Protoss with a lot of Vikings mixed into it. And the thing is, he will kill you when it really looks like, oh, wow, you know, his opponent has a lead right now, and then he just walks over, hits a nice stim timing or something. You're just not quite ready.
It's funny, too, because back in a DreamHack, as you remember, my God, this guy turtled like crazy.
Oh, yeah, he would just turtle forever, man. And he actually would slow tournaments down. When GoOdy was coming to your tournament like a year ago, you'd have to plan it different because the rounds would take longer with him in it.
Literally.
This is not a joke. This is not a joke.
I know we're pretty sarcastic sometimes, but this is actually true. GoOdy. I think I met GoOdy for the first time. I believe it was in Italy.
Yeah, that's the first time I met him too, I think.
That was our first international trip. I was Cass and you were playing.
That was our first one together, yeah.
Yeah, as a team. Here we are now. No, but I remember meeting him. He's a very smart guy, very talented. And it's cool to see that, you know, you have somebody from StarCraft 2 back then still playing now.
Yeah, it totally is. He was always a contender
now.
In Germany back then. You know, he's always like one of these names that Mondragon had to kill before he won Germany in WCG.
Such a smart guy.
Yeah.
Does Mondragon play StarCraft 2 now?
He's played it off and on, to be honest. He was on Team Acer, I believe, for a little bit, but you know, he's a guy that really focuses heavily on his studies. I'm not sure if he's coaching or playing or just part-time right now.
So funny. I remember those days back then. It's funny to see actually a lot of the German StarCraft 1 guys here in StarCraft 2 in general. They got a really, really rich esports culture out here. Considering it's not Korea, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's been one of the biggest in the world for a long time.
Yeah, I feel like it's, what is it, Germany, probably Sweden, Korea.
Yeah.
And then Taiwan.
Yeah. China actually has a really good scene that no one hears about.
Well, I feel like China is comparable to America, where it's a big enough country that no matter what, it's going to have a good amount of people there.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, we do have Socke actually sneaking up and checking out what's going on with his Stalker. He actually got to run up by that bunker and see the command center. So he realizes that there's no shenanigans going on by GoOdy, who, by the way, is just playing as standard as you can for opening with Bio.
So he's parked out here. He wants to make sure that no SCVs are going to leave. As you can see, he's covered the vision area very well.
In the meantime, Socke is just expanding, going up to 3 gates, all completely normal and standard. Has his second gas. Probably a Robo is going to come up next. I would really, really expect that, especially against GoOdy. I feel like opening Colossus is probably the best choice.
Why is that?
Well, GoOdy likes nowadays to get aggressive early on. You know, he's going to push out with some Medivacs, no doubt about it. You know, he'll get some Marines, some Marauders, push out, start to get aggressive, and do whatever he can to deal damage to Socke. And while, yeah, you can stop that with Gateway units and Twilight Tech and things like that, if you go straight to Colossus, 100% you're stopping it. It is not really going to deal damage. As long as you zone out the areas in your base correctly so that drops can't catch you off guard, there's no way for them to kill you or really even hurt you. So I would say that's the best choice in this scenario. And in fact, Socke just put up his Robo and then 2 gases right after, and that's exactly what that means. He's going up to Colossus.
eBay, not 2, but 1, excuse me. It looks like we may be having a 3rd taken pretty soon here. And how many gases do we have? We have 3. Now, meanwhile, at the Protoss' base, all 4 gases have been acquired. Observer on the way. Now, do we have we don't have a robotics support bay just yet. Is he going to get an Immortal and then go to Colossus? Is there a chance he might just skip Colossus entirely?
I would say no. You know, getting those 2 gases at that timing when you have a Robo always means Colossus. And in fact, he just threw down his robotics support bay. Not surprised at all to see it. I mean, it's going to be good stylistically against GoOdy, as mentioned before. And with all that gas, there's not much else you can do right now.
As you can see here, both players kind of macroing up. The factory's going to be swapped to the starport. to crank out medevacs, and when he spots the first Colossus, that's when you transition into just making Vikings. Now, as you can see here, we got +1 attack, combat shields, and stim on the way. Meanwhile, 2 forges being made here. I believe they're right here. Yes, they are.
Yeah, so Socke is actually going to be in turtle mode. Now, just looking at what's going on and knowing what I know from the games that I've watched of Goodies, the mistake that Socke could make here is expanding a little bit too quickly. You know, Goody will start to get aggressive, but with 2 forges and going Colossus, he won't have a big gateway army. And so Goody might be able to deal some damage if Socke is a little bit too greedy. But if he just chills for a little bit, you know, gets up to those 3 Colossus, starts to transition, takes his expansion at that point, he'll be a lot safer.
All right, 2 more racks being thrown down here. I thought it was going to be a sooner third. I was completely wrong.
Yeah.
And so far, both these guys are macroing very well. 2 more medevacs on the way. We do see Colossus range is being upgraded over here. It's so important against those infantry units. And another 2 gateways on the way as well here for Socke.
Yeah, just very standard from him. This is what he can support right now. We'll have to watch for the Twilight Council timing to see if he's going to line up 2-2 perfectly. I believe he will. And he sees everything moving out, so he should be ready for this.
All right, he's coming out now. Now, we have seen players do 2 base drops. I don't think it's as good. You know, where basically they pick up, they drop in the main, they attack the front. Generally not as good as if they have a 3rd base over here. The Protoss is generally spread a little bit too thin. But we'll see. It looks like Goody actually, instead of just scanning, scouting to see if he can kill that 3rd. No 3rd there to kill.
Yeah.
And the game will move on.
And, you know, that's what we mentioned before, is if he had taken that 3rd, that would have been hard. Goody knew to go right there, check, see if he's being too greedy. He's not, of course. So at this point, Goody might start to try to do like some double-pronged harassment, push up towards the front to draw units out and drop in the main. He does have those 4 medevacs, so wouldn't be a bad choice.
All right.
And here we go. Actually, some force fields going on. Really nice
good
force
force
fields.
field, considering the number of zealots. Coming here now, he's going to have to retreat, potentially pick up and just leave here. Another force fields getting in the way a little bit until the Colossi step on them.
Yep.
And Goody's going to be forced back. Goody with a slight supply lead, about 10 ahead of his opponent.
Yeah, and he did make his 3rd command center during all this. So even though he lost some units there, it's not the biggest deal in the whole world. But Socke will feel very comfortable, and I'm sure he's going to go ahead and expand now. After killing a few units like that, you feel completely fine to make another Nexus.
And very smart move here by Goody. Look, you don't even need this factory.
No.
You're not going to make bio units. You might as well land it here. Buy a little bit of time and make that Nexus a little bit later.
Well, right now, Socke is getting a Warp Prism. Looks like he wants to try to draw Goody away a little bit, and that's a good choice as well. If he can just make Goody stay away from him for an extra, let's say, minute with the Warp Prism, it's just completely worth it, because by that point, you know, he's going to have 2-2 done, he's going to have his charge done, he's going to have a lot more units as well, so that the next attack is not going to be as fearsome.
So the Warp Prism's out. Let's see the waypoint here. It looks as though he will be using it to harass, which means this army will probably be coming out to the front. You know, the harass is only good if you have something to draw the Terran's attention away. What are your thoughts here of Goody taking this expansion over here in the front rather than this one over here at Tosis? And also, how do you think that's going to influence the way this drop engages the Terran?
Well, you know, I don't think it'll alter the drop all that much, this one in particular, but I like that expansion out there on this version of Daybreak where you have all the extra minerals. It's a lot better at zoning out Protoss and where he is. It makes your 4th base a lot easier to take as well. But here we go. The Warping is beginning. Unfortunately for Socke, there is a Viking there. But this is drawing all his units back. Goody just turned around.
The Zealots hitting the SCVs and the Marines. Now, you can see, this is one of the problems when you have large groups of units hockeyed. Actually, a very bizarre number of units stim there. Coming up here to try to save the day. Now, I believe, was the Warp Prism killed?
Yeah, he got it with
he
the
did
Vikings.
Get it, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So the Warp Prism's taken out. Essentially, that harass was a failure. By the way, Goody with a substantial supply lead here.
Yeah, he is definitely, you know, up in supply a little bit. But I would say for Socke, I am not disappointed with that. Even though, yeah, it didn't do damage. GoOdy wanted to move out a little bit earlier, but he pulled him back into his base, and now Socke is a little bit more solid. You know, he's mixing in some Archons, he's getting more Zealots, his 2-2 is finished, and he's even mixing in some Immortals now against a player who hasn't gone Ghost yet. So Socke has a pretty good army. He just has to be careful. You can't really engage out in the open where this might actually occur.
All right, he needs to fan out these units here, get in a good position. And we're going to have an engagement.
Uh-oh, we got to be careful for Socke here. Some decent force fields going down, but actually there's a little hole, so the Zealots not doing the job they should be doing. The Vikings targeting down the Colossi oh so quickly, and it's looking like GoOdy is in a pretty good spot with only Stalkers left to fight. He lands his Vikings, and GoOdy totally pushing back Socke right now.
GoOdy's so dominant. Insta-lands those Vikings here. Pushing forward now. A scan over here. I don't know if Socke is prepared. The supply is already pretty scary, but the unit mixture is scary as well. He will get the Robo. Goodbye. And now closing in here into the Protoss' base. This could be bad news here for Socke.
Yeah, this is a lot of trouble he's in now, and even if he holds this off, losing some probes, losing all of his splash damage, this is a tough spot to be in. In the meantime, GoOdy is just macroing like a beast. His supply lead continues to grow.
Closing in here. Doing a ton. Nice cancels those warping and Zealots. Now the Zealots coming in here are the ones that remain attacking the Marauders, but nice kiting here by GoOdy. GoOdy stims again to come in for another attack, hitting the Nexus. It could be sniped in a few moments if Socke can't get enough units over here.
That's right, and he's just hemorrhaging Zealots right now. He's trying to hold him back, but this is too many units. We might actually see a GG coming up pretty quickly here.
Yeah, he's on the edge of the cliff here.
Yeah,
yeah, I think you're right. This could end right now. He's going to lose the Nexus, and I think this is one of those moments where the Terran does not have to pull back and regroup. He can actually just close it and kill.
Yeah, you can just keep microing at this point. There's really no way to fall behind here, so he's going to continue to do so. In the meantime, Socke is like trying to send a couple Zealots out here and there, but it's not going to do anything. The Archon's coming up just way too much, and GG. GoOdy taking game number 1 against Socke. You know, that game was actually, I felt like that game was super well played by both sides until the engagement out in the open, Tasis. I mean, Socke, that was the one place he should not have engaged. He allowed there to be an arc for GoOdy. You don't want to, I mean, he was spreading as if he was this maxed out Protoss against a Terran with, you know, maybe not the best army in the whole world. He should have pulled back and forced GoOdy into more of a tight choke point. That was, his force fields didn't quite do it. He didn't have the Zealot count that he needed, and not enough splash damage. That was really where Socke lost.
You know what really struck me was that engagement before it got out of control. Why was he doing that on the low ground?
Yeah, exactly.
He had that location on the ramp with the rocks there. He could mosey up there, and park himself, and defend. And you know what? Even if the Terran goes around, use that Nexus as part of the wall. Go behind that with the Colossus and play it from there.
You're so right, Tasis. That is how it should have gone down. Everything else Socke did, I felt, was completely textbook great stuff. I liked every other piece of his play, but you know, one bad engagement in Protoss versus Terran, and everything can fall apart.
Well, we're going to go on to Cloud Kingdom. Do you expect anything different, Artosis?
You know what? I think this is going to be kind of standard again. The last time I saw GoOdy play a Terran versus Protoss on Cloud Kingdom, he definitely took a quicker third than we saw this game. Not too much quicker, but he has kind of this funny style that some European Terrans do, where the third base, if they take it quicker, becomes a planetary, so they can be even more aggressive and not get harassed at all. So we'll see if he does something like that. It's definitely interesting and something I want to see more of, to see, really, is this good to, you know, skip that additional mule?
Yeah, you know, it's a tough call. You're basically giving up position, or giving up economy, I should say, to get position. Mm-hmm. And is that good in StarCraft 2? Maybe on some maps. We don't really see it that much. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I'm really curious about that as well. It looks like both players are ready, so we're going to get this game going pretty quickly here. Artosis, your predictions?
Look, I think that Socke can come back and tie up this series. As far as the series win, it's hard to say. You know, that was kind of a big mistake there by Socke, but both players are playing very well.
Yeah, you're absolutely right here. Cloud Kingdom again, our map, 1-on-1 map. Socke looking pretty unmoved here from that last loss, not stressed out. Seems to be emotionally pretty neutral here. And we're going to go ahead and throw it into the game.